Hello, all my batlings. Today we're going to be playing Forgive My Desires, Father, which is a spin off of the game Forgive My Sins, Father, which we already played. And this one is longer. It is about 90 minutes long for a route, from what I gather from the website. And there's 4 different endings. So I might actually break this up into 2 parts so we have more time to gather the other endings. Okay, so here we go. Let's read off the disclaimers first. This work is fictional and does not mean to harm any religion or religious figure. This work is not meant to represent everyone with psychosis or imply that they are inherently insane. Not suitable for minors or those who are easily disturbed. Warning: mentions of infidelity, strangulation, murder, arson, blood, and hallucinations. Oh, we know that. We know that from watching the first one. But it's going to be interesting because this is going to be from the sinner's point of view. Janie MK. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, see, he's engaged. Okay, we're going to be playing from... I forgot his name already. Ooh, check this out. Nice. Is that a squirrel? Okay. Nice. You can tell this is a newer one. Alright, new game. Samuel, that was his name. Danny, I'm home. I stepped into the living room, hiding a present behind my back. As soon as she noticed me, my fiancé ran over and wrapped her arms around my back. Welcome home, Sammy. While we were sharing an embrace, her fingers brushed across the present I was holding. Is that... Since it was no longer a secret, I passed her the bouquet I had bought for her as a gift. It is for you. I picked out the prettiest of flowers, suited for someone as beautiful as you. Let me turn down the music a little here. Okay. You're such a sweetheart. Danny held the flowers and took a whiff. Okay, sidetrack. She's cute and adorable. And I don't remember if we actually got to hear her full name. It was just a fiance in the previous game. So, Danielle. Nice. They smell lovely. I can't believe you would still buy me flowers every single day. Of course, I want to wholeheartedly show my love for you. My fiance and I have been dating for 2 months. It was only last week I got down on one knee and proposed to her. 2 months? Hold up, 2 months? That is not long enough to be dating before you actually ask someone to marry you, okay? That's just a bit crazy. I know everybody falls in love at like different rates and stuff, but I feel like that's just not enough time. People warned us we were moving too fast, but they don't understand love like I do. I wish to be married as soon as possible, for that is when I can finally become one with the person I love. That is ideal, true love. With an oath tied around us, she could never leave me then. Never. I held Danny tight in my arms. Her body felt warm, and I let myself absorb this warmth. This serene sensation always calmed me, even during the roughest days. Love is truly a powerful emotion. My life was perfect, just the way I liked it to be. I wanted some things to stay the same forever. Peaceful. Danny was exemplary in my eyes. Gentle and warm. Those 2 traits were all I asked for. She's gentle, so gentle. But it all changed one day. Who knew after a few months of dating that things wouldn't stay peaceful like I wanted? Yeah, 'cause you're past the honeymoon phase, dude. Everything's perfect at the beginning. Danny was slowly turning into a different person. She was no longer the gentle Danny who I once knew. Flowers? Again? You don't need to keep buying them. I raised my brows, confused. She used to be so happy when I brought her gifts. So now, why is she upset now? Her current tone doesn't sound so pleasant. It sounded strong. I did not like that. Sammy, we should start saving up as much money as we can for our future. Don't worry about it. How can I not be worried when we're just scraping by every month? We have to plan and save some budget for our wedding. I'll figure something out. No, you won't, Sammy. You were never a planner. You were always carefree. You probably don't care about our wedding, do you? I do. I really do. If you actually cared, you would have fought for your inheritance. Inheritance? That was a word I despised with all my heart. My mother had passed away many months ago. She was a delusional person who always worried about her possessions. Thus, she took out insurance on our old home. One day, a fire started and burnt down the house with her in it. Ooh. It was an accident. Okay, I'm not sure if it was an accident anymore. And my mother, fortunately, passed away in the tragedy. Very fortunate. I never liked her. The house insurance was in her mother's name, and she didn't leave a will, as expected, since she never cared about me. Her siblings lived in that home when they were younger, so they have every right to fight for the money as I do. But I didn't want to join in their bitter feud. Listening to family members yell at each other made me feel miserable and small. I don't want to hear their hostile voices. Their horrid and harsh voices. I despise them. I'd rather be surrounded by the calming, gentle presence of my dear lover. But now, Sammy, I wish you would start being more responsible and fight for your inheritance. We could do a lot with that money. We could have a huge wedding and invite hundreds of guests. We don't need a lavish wedding. What's the point? All I'm saying is we could use that money for our future. Make some investments, maybe a better place to rent, maybe save some funds if we were ever to have children. With the way things are going, we're going to face a lot of hardships, and that could easily be prevented with money. You should really start thinking about our future. Please don't raise your voice at me. Why isn't she using her sweet, gentle tone with me anymore? Is it because her mind has been invaded by greed? That horrible, horrible sin. Why does she want money? With the carefree way you're acting, it's like you don't care about me or our future at all. You're always spending money so recklessly. You should have more money. You should save more money. A whimper escaped my throat. Why is she scolding me? I don't want to be yelled at. I mean, most people don't like to be yelled at. I really don't. I wanted my calm and gentle Danny back. Please don't scold me. I am not scolding you. I'm just trying to make you think more rationally. I listlessly stared at her. Her words were becoming less audible. I can never stand it when someone raised their voice to me. This harsh tone that's directed towards me is unbearable. There was something I could never handle. The more she yelled at me, the more I felt trapped, as if I was losing my rational senses. If you don't start contributing to our future, everything we worked hard for will be useless. Oh, goodness. Replacing Danny, another woman appeared before my eyes. Useless. Oh, is he thinking of his mom? My heart started to thump loudly. That word, that all too familiar word the demon likes to call me by. You're useless, Samuel. No, I'm not. My heart rate increased and my head throbbed as someone was stabbing my brain. No. My panicked state seemed to cause Danny to be concerned about me. Sammy? What's wrong? Are you alright? My fiancée took a few steps towards me, but the closer she got, the more I saw her, my deceased mother. You should be dead. You should be dead. So why are you here? Samuel, you've always been worthless. Stop. Don't say my name anymore. Both Danny and Mother's voice merged as it screeched into my eardrums. You were nothing but a nuisance to me. No, don't come any closer. I hate you. I hate you with all my heart. How could you say that to me? The ringing in my ears suddenly stopped, and I could clearly see Danny instead of my mother. I watched her, puzzled. She seemed as if she was about to cry. But why would she be hurt? What's wrong? What do you mean, what's wrong? You were screaming that you hate me. How could you? No, that wasn't intended for you. Get out of the house. I don't want to see you right now. Danny, get out and think deeply about what you just said to me. It really wasn't intended for you. It was incomprehensible to me why she was enraged. But I left anyway. Not because I wanted to reflect, it's because I didn't want to be surrounded by anger. I didn't like this side of Danny. Wrath is an ugly, ugly emotion. I hate it. I found myself in the graveyard, hovering over a tombstone. Mother, why are you here at the mortal world? From all the sins you committed, have you become a demon after all? A malevolent being whose purpose is to cause despair and misfortune on others. How suiting for someone like you. Please, stop coming into my life. I despise you. I don't wish to ever see you again. Oh, he definitely caused it. Remember what you did? Hearing a voice whispering into my ears, I glanced around, but nobody was there. You killed her. I didn't, so stop bothering me. I know everything that you did. These horrid voices, they had been bothering me for a while. Sometimes they tried to convince me odd things. Other times, like now, they tried to inflict guilt upon me. In an essence, a pure evil that has been invading my life. Didn't you feel relief when you killed her? No, I did nothing to her. Unable to handle it any longer, I covered my ears with my hands, but the voice was still clear. You killed her. I did nothing. I'm begging you, please, stop talking. The voice only grew louder, and I was unable to get rid of it, no matter how much I prayed for it to stop. Oh, you know who this is. Our Father, you bring us to birth. Your providence guides our lives, and by your command, we return to dust. Suddenly, the voices in my head stopped, replaced with a more soothing one. I realized it didn't come from my head this time, but from someone nearby. Hearing the prayer instantly made me feel at ease, freeing me from my troubled thoughts. I glanced around, searching for the source of the beautiful voice, and found myself greeted by an ethereal presence. Oh, look at him! Oh, he's so cute! Oh, he's doing his work. Looks like he's saying the last rites to someone who just died. Those who die still live in your presence. Their lives change, but do not end. I pray and hope for the family, relatives, and friends, and for all the dead known to you alone. The owner of that soothing voice came from a priest who was performing a funeral service. I paid no attention to the mourners at the back. I solely focused my eyes on the graceful man who stood in front of the casket. Beautiful, both his voice and his presence. He was radiant in every aspect, a breathtaking sight to behold, as if an angel was standing before me. Never have I ever felt this enchanted towards an individual who died and now lives. May they rejoice in your kingdom, where all our tears are wiped away. Unite us together again in one family, to sing your praise forever and ever. Amen. Amen. I was not part of the deceased family, but I found myself repeating after him. The priest was a powerful man. His voice was able to completely remove the evil in my head and make me feel at peace. His soft, gentle voice. I watched him for the entire duration of the service. My heart raced whenever he spoke, not from panic this time, but from infatuation. He was all that filled my mind at that moment. But my happiness came to a stop when the sermon ended. Everyone started to leave one by one, and so did my dear priest. He was walking further and further away from me. Then the demonic voices in my head returned. Oh, we can't save here! Goodness, I should have saved. You have to make him yours. You need to go talk to him. Oh. Should we go the dark route first? You have to make him yours. You're right. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Quietly, I decided to follow him from behind. Not long after, he led me to a church nearby. He entered, and so did I. A smile crept on my face. I was glad. I was relieved. Because I knew that this was the location where he would be found whenever I yearned to see him. I knew that I would be visiting this church often. Later, I received a call from Danny telling me to come home and that she forgave me. I didn't understand her. What does she mean by forgiving me? I had done nothing wrong. She was the one who should be seeking forgiveness from me for raising her voice at me, not the other way around. I shrugged it off, but deep down I was beginning to feel reluctant about my fiancée. Her hostile tone was ingrained in my head. It wasn't natural at all. I knew then that she wasn't the gentle Danny who I once knew. I had a growing suspicion that she had been possessed by none other than my very own demonic mother. At that moment, I knew that my infatuation was no longer directed towards her, but towards him, the light in my darkness. Every day I yearned to visit the church to see the man who was the center of my interest, but unfortunately I could only visit during my days off. Whenever I was available, I would attend his sermon, just to hear his beautiful, gentle voice. I never grew tired of watching and hearing him from afar. But as the days passed, it wasn't satisfactory anymore. I wanted to converse with him. I wanted him. Sammy, we have to talk. Is something the matter? Why didn't you tell me that your mom's insurance had been settled? Because my aunts and uncles claimed most of the money, and I knew it would upset you. Doesn't matter whether it upsets me or not, I'm more concerned about why you are hiding things from me. We're partners, aren't we? You should be telling me everything. Her loud voice was like a knife that was stabbing my eardrums. I suspected it would upset her, but she was even more furious than I imagined. Are you hiding even more secrets from me? During the weekends, you are absent for the whole day. What are you up to? Danny, I've already informed you. I went to church on those days. But I don't like it. We work during the weekdays, and I barely get to spend time with you. Now you go to the church all day during the weekends instead of spending time with me. You barely give me any attention anymore. Please don't raise your voice. I don't like it. Why is she yelling? Why does she only care about what she wants? Why wouldn't she consider what I want? This is good music. It's like you don't care about our relationship anymore. I stare at her, motionlessly. She's scolding me, just like how my mother used to scream at every little mistake I did. I start to recall more about that horrible woman. Don't just stand there, say something. Since Danny's possessed, my demonic mother must be slowly corrupting her and taking over her from the inside. Yes, they both were starting to resemble each other. Her yells were getting muffled and were slowly replaced by the voices in my head. She's not the one for you. If you had cared about her relationship, you would have put more effort into planning our wedding. Stop screaming. Please, I cannot stand to hear it. You really don't care about me or our future at all. Everything will be fine. Just please stop shouting at me. I was uneasy once again from her yelling. The angrier she got, the more suffocating it felt. Stop saying everything will be fine. How can everything be fine if you never do anything right? My eyes widened immediately when those words erupted from her mouth. A familiar silhouette flashed before my eyes once again. You never do anything right, Samuel. Mother, you're back. She's been possessed yet again. Isn't that what you're thinking? Yes, that was the cause of this irrational behavior. My fiance's screams along with the loud voices in my head were too much to bear. I wish you would put more effort into us, Samuel. I covered my ears and shook my head, desperate to get rid of all the noises. Stop. Stop. Please stop talking. Okay, she's becoming a demon. Wait for her to calm down. I'm gonna continue doing the dark path for now. She's becoming a demon. The nothingness filled my ears. Everything was becoming blurry. It was getting harder to breathe, and I desperately attempted to gasp for air. I can't take this anymore. Overwhelmed, I wanted to get away from everything. I wanted everything to be back to normal, and I immediately knew who would bring me that peace I so badly sought. I have to see him. With all the strength that I could muster, I ran out the door and to the church as fast as my legs could take me. Once inside the architecture, I glanced around desperately in search of my angel. When I realized he was nowhere in sight, my behavior grew more frantic. My heart raced as I desperately searched for the priest. Where are you? I need you. I hopelessly searched around the church. The more places I covered, the more anxious I got. My hands trembled from the dreaded anxiety. It was getting harder and harder to breathe. Just then, I spotted a man emerging out of the confessional booth. Could it be? With my regained hope, I stepped closer to the confessionals. One side of the booth was empty, and I could make out a silhouette on the other side. Even with the wide screen, I caught a glimpse of the familiar light hair. My lips curled into a smile. There he is. I took a deep breath as I was finally able to relax my nerves. Giddy with excitement, I took a step inside. I clasped my hands together and lowered my head to pray. It was going to be my first time speaking to him, and I was nervous, yet elated. Forgive me. I was so excited to talk to him that I ended up stuttering. Take a deep breath. There's no need to be nervous. The moment I heard his beautiful voice, a wave of relief washed over me. I truly felt like I was greeted by a heavenly presence, a feeling of pure enlightenment. He's speaking to me. He's speaking to me. He's speaking to me. It was difficult to contain my joy. My apologies, Father, for this is the first time here. First time at this church? No. Of course not. I have been visiting you often, ever since I first saw you. Then I see you mean it's your first time to confess. Yes, Father. As the priest recited the opening prayer, I took out a device to secretly record our conversations. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, see, I love this because we're getting details we didn't get in the other game. Oh, he's recording the conversations. His voice was so close. I wanted to store it and listen to it forever on repeat. Tell me, what is your sin? I had an argument with my fiancé. It was just something I had blurted out at that moment. In reality, I didn't care. I wasn't seeking for forgiveness because it was her who should be the one to ask forgiveness from me. It was her who had wronged me by expressing sins such as wrath and greed upon me. But that doesn't matter to me anymore. I get an excuse to talk with Father, and that's all I ever wanted. I proceeded to tell him the situation between my fiancé and me, about our fights, about how she wasn't the same person who she used to be. But you're definitely not telling him about how you think it's your mother possessing her. I noticed that. Before I knew it, I felt myself blurting out everything because I was aware I could tell him everything. I knew I could trust him. An argument with a loved one is inevitable. You did nothing wrong. You sound as though you are timid by nature, so it must be difficult to hear her badgering about your financial situation. I was elated he was on my side. I was right all along. But your fiancée has a strong reason to want the money. She is only worried about your future together. That part I didn't quite agree. Greed for money is never a valid reason, even if she was concerned about our future. Greed is one of the sins that turned my mother into a horrible human in the first place. Greed is unforgivable. I want you to know that a minor argument with your loved one is not something you should break your bond over. You are forgiven. Thank you. I'm very grateful that you spoke to me. Being graced by your presence itself is truly a blessing. A blessing that instantly made my troubled mind feel at ease. What passionate words. You sure sound like a vigorous young man. The priest let out a soft chuckle. It was like music to my ears. I wanted to hear more of him. Then let us end our session here. Already? But I want to talk with him more. I bit my lips, frustrated that our time was already coming to an end. But my anger died down when the priest recited the closing prayer. I couldn't help but let myself drown in his beautiful voice. I was deeply infatuated. Amen. Amen. Letting out a sigh, I stepped out of the booth because I had no other choice. After I left, someone else went inside and my heart immediately dropped. I was envious. I wanted to converse with Father, but now someone else is in my stead. I contemplated about going into the booth again, but I was concerned he would recognize my voice and ask me why I entered twice. This is fun. Okay, my legs are falling asleep. Hang on. Okay, I'm enjoying, seeing his point of view. He really is more messed up than I thought he was. Okay, you could return some other day. He shouldn't be talking to anyone else. Okay, we're doing, the very possessive thing, so we should definitely go with this. He shouldn't be talking to anyone else. Filled with envy, I ended up standing at the same position for a long time, watching people come and go. Even when I got to see his silhouette through the small holes of the widescreen, it was unsatisfactory. I wanted to see more of him. When the church was in its closing hours, I finally returned home. Danny wasn't present, even though it was already late at night. Then I remembered her telling me about having to take longer shifts and working extra hours. Must be busy at the office. The door creaked open and my fiancé stepped inside. When she saw me, she immediately jumped into my arms. "Are you alright, Sammy? I'm sorry for yelling at you before. I started to get worried when you ran off. I was so worried." "Everything is alright, Danny." I was no longer upset with her because I was feeling cheerful from my interaction with the father. "You're smiling, and you're in your outdoor wear." "Yes? Is that a problem?" "You came home late, didn't you? And you're smiling. That would make anyone suspicious." "I went to church." "Church? Again?" "Indeed, that is my sacred haven where I can find peace." "But you used to say that your sacred haven is to be by my side. Am I not it anymore?" I shook my head, but deep down, I knew she wasn't. I no longer felt at peace around Danny ever since my demonic mother started possessing her. Just then, my phone buzzed from inside my pocket. I'd received a text from Noah, Danny's best friend. We were acquaintances. It was easy to get along with him because he was overly charismatic, unlike me. Uh-oh. "Hey, Samuel, I've got something to tell you." "What is it?" "Have you noticed that Danny's been coming home late?" "Yeah, she's busy at the office." "I don't think so." "Do you know Seth, that rich and handsome guy from her department?" "Yeah, I saw them walking out of the office and heading to the bar together. Just the two of them. Isn't that weird?" "I thought I should let you know." Uh-oh. Without replying, I switched off my phone. Danny and her coworker? Oh no. She's only mingling with a colleague. She is an unfaithful sinner. We're being evil. I scanned through the text messages and reread every single word. This is not just a random person words. This is her best friend who knows everything about her. What could he possibly be hinting at me? Deep inside, I knew there could be a possibility that Danny is unfaithful. Because my mother, who would casually commit infidelity, was possessing her after all. It was past closing time, and there wasn't any visitors inside the church. Well, aside from me. I hid in the shadows to avoid being detected as I watched Father from afar. Yep, we're full on creeper mode now. I contemplated about walking up to him and casually starting a conversation, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Thinking about being close to his presence once again made me overwhelmed with excitement. These emotions. I wanted to consume them little by little, then savor it fully. The fantasy came to a stop when my cell phone rang. Whoop! Our location has been announced. I silently cursed under my breath and ran outside of the building, just in time before the father turned around to find the source of the noise. I didn't want him to know I was watching him. The call was from Danny. Instead of picking up, I returned to our home to confront her. You're out late again. Where were you, and why didn't you pick up your phone? I was at church. Sammy, it's 9 p.m. Most churches close after sunset. I stayed behind after hours. Sure you're not lying to me? It's just really hard to believe. I frowned. Why is she throwing accusations at me when I was telling the truth? I wasn't able to comprehend. Well, you've been coming home late too. I thought I told you I had to work longer shifts because of the workload. Why are you bringing this up? The text I received from her best friend lingered on my mind. I know you've been going out late at night with that coworker of yours. Huh? I'm only grabbing a drink with my colleagues. Nothing else is going on. But I'm starting to understand now. They say cheaters are the ones who are insecure about their own infidelity. You're accusing me because you're the one being unfaithful. Why are you turning this on me? My blood was boiling. I didn't understand why she was trying to put me at fault, shifting the blame, like what my mother would do to inflict guilt upon me. You've been up to something these past few nights, haven't you? I don't like it when you're angry. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why are you always avoiding confrontation? Because it is reminding him of all the times with his mother, and he just grew up not liking it, and it really triggers him. Danny continued yelling at me, and I ignored her. Her words were slowly becoming less audible, so I blankly stared at her. Images of my mother flashed before me once again, reminding me of her demonic presence. I wasn't able to hear anything anymore, but I didn't mind, since I didn't want to hear a mouth that speaks vulgar things anyway. I preferred if things stayed quiet like this. Yeah, he definitely needs some, mental help. Wait for her to calm down, make her stop. 'Cause we're being dark. The voices in my head rang loudly, but I'm stronger than them. I'm capable of thinking by myself. I ended up standing still like a statue, staring nonchalantly at my fiancé. I didn't feel like arguing since it would only incur more wrath. Fine, if you're just gonna ignore me, I'll leave. After she was exhausted from yelling, she went into our bedroom and locked the door. It's not as if I wanted to sleep on the same bed as her after this incident. Settling myself on the couch, I stared at the ceiling. Discomfort was building up bit by bit. Rather than feeling at home, it was as if I was in a stranger's residence. The emotions were suffocating me. I wasn't able to get rid of this unpleasant bubbling within me. Then I remembered my medicine. My beautiful medicine. I took out a pair of earbuds and connected it to my phone. Like an addict, I frantically placed the buds firmly inside my ear and proceeded to switch on a recording. Tell me, what is your sin? My mood immediately brightened up. Hearing the father's calming voice never failed to soothe my soul. I was glad I recorded our conversation. I could feel my body starting to relax. Listening through the earbuds felt like he was whispering directly into my ears. Then I started to imagine what it'd feel like to have him right beside me, saying sweet nothings into my ear and holding me. Just fantasizing about it made my body tingle. A shaky breath escaped from my parted lips as I thought more and more about him. His voice, his touch, his everything. After relieving myself with his voice, I grew exhausted and eventually fell asleep. Ooh, yeah. Yep, he relieved himself. Why can't you do anything right, Samuel? My mother stumbled into my room. The smell of alcohol wavered into my nostrils the closer she came. Probably went out drinking again, like every other night. You good-for-nothing son. I told you to clean up the house, but it's still a mess everywhere. I did my best to clean. Why can't she praise me for once? Her voice is so loud. She had a plate in her hand, which she shoved in my plate to show me his face to show me the stain. These plates are all dirty. You're already 9. Why can't you even wash dishes properly? 9? Oh, come on. Don't need to yell. It's not like I did it on purpose. Scrubbed hard, I really did. Then she threw the plate on the floor. Bits of porcelain scattered across the room, some pieces landing on my foot. I have to clean all this up, don't I? I stepped on the sharp debris to fetch the broom. My soles were bleeding, yet they felt numb. Somewhat used to the pain. More than that, I was used to this violent behavior from my mother. The only wish on my mind was to be left alone in peace, away from her voice. I just wanted her to stop screaming at me. I wanted to tidy up and head to bed. Babe, come over here already. I'm getting lonely. The voice of another man beckoned for my mother. It differed from the person who It differed from the person who visited yesterday. Every night she would bring home a different person to sleep with, even though she had a lover. Lust. I couldn't count the number of sins she committed with my fingers. One ugly person. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Sammy? Oh, that was a flashback. Dang. He had a rough childhood. No wonder he has a lot of issues. Hearing my name being called, I woke up. My fiancée was hovering over me with a look of concern on her face. Danny? I'm sorry for yelling at you yesterday. It's alright. I'm feeling slightly better. But I knew that wasn't true, because I felt horrible, especially after dreaming about an event that had happened during my childhood. I didn't want to see that demon. I'm going to work now, but I wanted to make up with you before I left. She sat next to me and gave me a hug. I love you, Sammy. I suddenly froze, not knowing what to respond with. Sammy? Is something the matter? I closed my eyes shut before hesitantly returning her embrace. I love you too. That was odd. Why does it feel insincere to tell her I love her? I'm supposed to love her, right? She's my fiancée after all. She pulled away from me when she received a message from her phone. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her texting that rumored coworker of hers. She smiled as she messaged him. But why is she smiling? Does she share her love with him too? Then an image of the demon appeared. Yes, Danny was starting to remind me more and more of my mother. Like how my mother betrayed her partner with different people every night. I had suspicions that Danny would follow the same path, because the two of them were becoming one. Feeling unsettled, I decided to skip work and visit the church. I wanted to feel at ease and be graced with the presence of the man who I admire. He makes me He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads beside... Oh my gosh. Okay, give me a second. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me to the right path for his name's sake. I was just in time for the sermon. How intoxicating his voice was, as per usual. I was engrossed with every word that came out of his mouth. The movements of his lips mesmerized me. His enticing, pale lips. My heart dropped when I realized the sermon had ended. I would no longer be able to hear his voice. As I watched others casually approach a father, discomfort bubbled within me. Those dirty hands of theirs, tainting the pure, angelic air of my dear priest. My desire to talk to him grew. I knew I had to talk to him. I could no longer ignore my strong desire. Just then I heard footsteps. I raised my head to see who had approached me, and my face brightened up when I realized who it was. The priest came to see you. Did you come here alone? Yes. The whole scenario was like a dream to me. This was our first time talking face to face, and I knew it would be a cherished memory I would keep for as long as I live. What made the occasion even more joyous was the fact the father was the one who initiated a conversation with me. Do you remember me, Father? I spoke to you in the conversationals last week. Should you be openly informing this to me? Don't you want to keep your privacy? I trust you, Father. I want you to know everything about me, every single thing. I enjoy listening to your sermons, Father. Your voice is beautiful, just like your appearance. Oh, he straight up is saying it out loud. Filled with grace. How I admire you so. Every time I hear your voice, My mind calms down as if I'm suddenly transported to a relaxing tropical beach. I'm pleased to hear that I'm able to help you. That is all I ever wanted when I accepted this duty, to bring peace into the hearts of the troubled. Indeed you did. Your voice is truly powerful. Thank you for gracing me with your ethereal presence. Quite an intriguing individual you are. Our father covered his mouth with his hand to muffle his laughter. Why was he covering it? I wanted to hear it. Oh, he's blushing though. Look at that. No parishioners have ever complimented me this greatly before. And though it is certainly odd to hear, it warms my heart that you're so passionate about my sermons. I am, and I will keep visiting this church just to listen to you and your stories. Nothing makes me happier than seeing those in the younger demographic interested in the communion. You look fairly young yourself, Father. Do I? I tend to forget my age since I became a priest. Thank you for reminding me about my youth. The laughter that came out of his throat caused me to be even more infatuated. This time, he didn't try to muffle it, thankfully, because I got to hear something truly beautiful. It was me who caused him to smile that brightly. It was me. I wanted to hear what other sounds he could make. I wanted to see more of his expressions. It's time for me to be heading to the conversationals. Will you be joining me today? Yes, I would love to. This is the first time I've met someone who's positively enthusiastic about confessing their sins. Usually, one would be wretched with guilt, or they tend to be anxious. That is because your presence alone prevents me from being low-spirited. Just being around you removes all my burdens. Is that so? I'm glad I could make you feel at ease. By the way, my name is Samuel. Well then, Samuel, let us get to the confessional booth. Hearing my name come out of his lips gave me immense tremors. I wanted to hear him repeat my name forever. We sat at the opposite ends of the booth. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I pursed my lips, thinking about my argument with Danny last night. You can confide anything in me, Samuel. As usual, the father's calming voice sent a wave of reassurance through my body, and I felt less tense. I decided to inform him about a topic that had been lingering on my mind. I have suspicions that my fiancée is being unfaithful. From rumors and her coming home late, I'm quite certain that she's cheating on me with her coworker. That doesn't sound too concerning. Are you sure it's not a misunderstanding? No, her best friend confirmed my suspicions. Is that so? To find out that the love of your life has been unfaithful must have been hard on you. I'm sorry to hear that. The love of my life? I knew that I wanted all her love, all her attention, but nowadays it doesn't feel like she loves me anymore. Samuel, is something the matter? I was just pondering, Father. My apologies for the delay with my response. What do you reckon I do? The right thing would be to express your concerns and listen to her side of the story. Every relationship will eventually have an issue, and you shouldn't let your bond waver. Do you think she loves me? Still loves me? Perhaps. You're a good man from what I can tell, so I can somewhat guarantee that she still loves you. Good. I need her love. I want to be loved. Your words are quite perplexing. What do you mean? You keep expressing that you want to be loved, but never have you once mentioned that you love her. It's been hard for me to do that lately. In a relationship, both parties have to mutually express love towards one another in order for it to work. I don't think I feel the same love for her as I'd done before. That tends to occur after a dispute. But you will eventually just develop feelings for her again. Do not worry. I doubt I will, because I knew what my heart wants. My infatuation was now directed towards the priest and no one else. I could see myself loving no one else aside from him. Father, can you step outside for a moment? May I ask you why? Please. I just want to see you. The door to the booth creaked open and the priest stepped outside. I abided by your wishes. Now, what is it that you seek? I reach out my hand to gently hold his and proceed to lock our fingers together. Oh, making a move. Oh no, what's the priest gonna think of this? Oh goodness. Are they by themselves, or is there other people in here with them? Feeling his skin felt better than what I imagined. Soft to the touch. Samuel, what might you be doing? I wanted to touch you. I wonder how much love I would feel if I were to hold you. But why would you feel anything by touching me? You don't have any feelings for me. You're wrong. I gazed intently at his face, and the father swiftly turned his head away. You're very gentle, Father. Your skin is as soft as your personality. His cheeks turned rosy red, and the sight made me smile. You're blushing. The priest withdrew his hand. The moment I could no longer feel his skin, it was as if I was missing a puzzle piece. I'm embarrassed, because it's been a while since I tenderly held someone else's hand. Really? Yes. Ever since I was committed to the priesthood. My apologies for showing you an odd side of me. I should have been more calm and collected. It wasn't odd. I thought your flushed face was beautiful. I mean, even if you weren't embarrassed, you're already beautiful. Laughter escaped from his throat as it echoed through the church walls. Beautiful, am I? You truly are well versed at giving compliments. Tell these words to your fiancée, and I'm sure it'll make her swoon. You're quite the sweet talker, Samuel. Does that mean my words made you feel something, Father? Instead of thinking about me, you should be focused on your fiancé. Even though I wanted to disagree, I hesitantly nodded. Father, you mentioned that it's been a while since you held someone's hand. Does that mean you've had a lover before? Indeed, I have, though it's been quite a few years. My blood began to boil. That person that had once loved the father touched him, talked to him, received his love. An anger rose in me. My hands trembled. Okay. He said it's been years since he last had a lover, dude. You just met him. Okay? So you should not be mad at what happened years and years ago with him being in a relationship with someone else, because he didn't know you. You didn't know him. Okay? Chill. Chill. I was envious of this previous lover. Samuel, are you alright? I'm afraid I'm feeling unwell. Oh, you look unwell. Look at that. Then you should head home and rest. But what about the confession? Samuel, your health is more important. Please rest well. For my sake. For your sake, then I shall. Eventually I relented. Even though I wanted to talk more with him, I didn't want to concern my dear priest. You know, that'd be a good title for a game. My Dear Priest. But I like the title to this one too. When I came home, I was upset yet again when I realized Danny wasn't home. Just when I needed her love the most. I wanted it. I wanted her love. Still perturbed from earlier, I wanted her love to calm me down. Rather than feeling envy towards Danny's co-workers, My rage was directed towards whoever the father's past lover was. I was distraught, thinking about the possibility that this lover could have done intimate activities with my beloved made me furious. Suddenly, I heard someone knocking on the door. Danny, why are you knocking? I swung the door open to let her in, but it wasn't Danny. It was Noah. Ooh, her best friend. What are you doing here? Just coming for a visit. Oh, he looks smug. Danny's not here. Just because I'm her best friend doesn't mean I have to be here to see her. I'm here to see you. My apologies, but I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling unwell. I don't want to take part in idle chatter with you. But I'm not here for a chat. Noah's hand trailed down my chest. Oh my god. Ooh. Okay. So this is what Noah wants. Noah wants to hook up. I know you must be feeling lonely, knowing that Danny is going out with her coworkers late at night, leaving you all by yourself. Do you want me to make you feel less lonely? And how would you help me? You can use me. When Noah's hovered his hand over my belt, I instantly knew what he meant. I'm interested in you, Samuel. Let's have fun for one night. But you're married. Oh, the sins are getting deeper, guys. I totally forgot. Oh man, I thought he hooked up with the girl. I didn't know he hooked up with the guy because it didn't indicate it in the last game. Did say he hooked up with his best friend's, or his fiance's best friend who was married. Didn't say it was a male. But you're married. We're in an open relationship. That's blasphemous. True love is meant to be between two people. Still holding on to old values when we're in the 21st century. An open relationship is normal nowadays, you know? You're so pure, Samuel. That's why I'm so fond of you. But why with me? What about your bond with Danny? 'Cause it's more exciting that way. I'm a thrill seeker. But unlike you, I'm not in an open relationship. I refuse to be in one. Oh, he's actually turning him down. See, the fact that you aren't is the fun part. I don't understand. Noah's here to wreck things, okay? He wants the thrill of destroying things, of playing behind people's back, and not getting caught. Noah grabbed my hand and brought it under his shirt. I could feel my palm sliding against his bare chest. You must be pretty pent up, right? Release all your frustration on me. My frustration? My mind snapped when the thought of father's past lover entered. Oh! Before I knew it, I found myself flipping our positions and pinning Noah to the couch. As I did the deed, I thought about my priest, the sensation of skin against mine. Will it feel like this? I imagined it was him who was with me, without his robes. Oh! After gratifying our deeds, a pang of guilt immediately settled inside. What have I done? Not only did I commit infidelity by sleeping with a married man, but I also tainted the image of the purity of my dear father. While my head was buried in my hands, Noah began to put his clothes back on. I wasn't aware you had daddy issues. Pardon? You keep mumbling father under your breath. What's that about? The probing question made me slightly annoyed. Please leave. I was just about to. Danny will be back soon, so I have to get going anyway. Noah planted a kiss on my cheek before whispering into my ear. Keep this little secret between us. You don't want Danny to get mad, do you? Yes. Doesn't keeping secret give you this amazing thrill? Now that I've shared my fun with you, I better get going. Then I watched the sinful man leave my home. When I was left alone, I let the voices drown out my thoughts. You committed a great sin. I'm aware. I'll just ask the Father for forgiveness and it'll all be better. You think he will forgive you this time? Knowing how gentle he is, he won't be upset. He will surely forgive me. You're so naive. He won't forgive you. He'll be disgusted by you for committing such sinful actions. No, I don't want him to hate me. Tell him the truth, and he'll hate you. No, he can't hate me. Please, stop talking. I covered my ears to make the tormenting voice go away, but it wouldn't disappear. Instead, the voices grew more powerful. Oh, you have to repent. He'll never forgive you. He will too forgive you. I think it should be you have to repent. You have to repent. Sammy? When I heard a familiar voice entering my ear, I raised my head to see Danny staring at me with concern written all over her face. Are you alright? Yes. It's getting late. What are you still doing in the living room? Let's go to bed. You slept out here last night, and it must have been uncomfortable, huh? I nodded weakly. When Danny pulled me in for a hug, the scent of alcohol drifted into my nostrils. How much did you drink? You smelled stronger than usual. We've been working long hours, so I just needed some stress relief. Getting intoxicated is not good for you. It'll delude your mind into doing unthinkable acts. It's just a few glasses of beer. Can you not lecture me, Sammy? I'm really tired. A drunkard. Just like Mother was. The smell of alcohol imprinted a bad memory from my childhood that I despised greatly. Danny tiptoed to softly kiss my lips. The lingering scent of alcohol from her breath made me shudder as it made me think about my mother. Let's go to bed. You're the same as your mother. You despised her for sleeping around with people behind her lover's back. But now you committed the same deed. No, you're unfaithful, just like her. I'm not the same as her. I quickly sat up from my bed, panting. Eventually, I managed to calm myself down. I was used to it. I was used to the voices violently shaking me awake. Okay. I am going to end this part here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, our Samuel is having a rough time. He's thinking his fiance is possessed by a demonic spirit of his dead mother. He suspects Danny is cheating on him because Noah said something about it, but I think Noah lied because Noah wanted to cause the rift so Noah could sleep with Samuel. So Noah's probably lying about the whole thing just to get into Samuel's pants, which he did. And now Samuel's feeling guilty about that. But he was thinking about the priest during that whole interaction, so woo. Oh wow, this is a trip. I'm liking to see his side. It's got so much more info in it, so much more meat. I love it. Okay, well, I'm gonna end this part here, and be sure to check out the first part if you haven't seen it yet. Or I mean the first game, not the first part. This is the first part of this playthrough. And stick around so you can check out the next part. I'm sure it's gonna get crazy. Okay, but I hope you all had a great time checking this out with me. I know I had fun. And I'll see you in the next part. Bye-bye.